The comments I get sometimes on my YouTube channel are interesting, sometimes just really kind and sweet, and sometimes they get a rise out of me. And instead of commenting on the spot, well, sometimes I respond in a video. And that's what I'm doing here, sharing a comment from someone who was really annoyed by a letter writer's situation and reacted with what I call the cowboy response. And this was on a video that I called "Your Adult Child Blames You, the Limits of Toxic Empathy." So this one, you might remember it. It was from, I don't know, about a month ago, where a mother with an adult daughter who had been deeply traumatized as a child was living at home with her, and also the husband. And the daughter was basically still raging at the parents and blaming them for her problems. And especially she was targeting the mother, who was not the primary abuser in this story of the past. But the mother didn't leave or challenge the abuser. And so the mother was saying, I don't know why she's so angry at me, while also telling us that she and her daughter were basically walking on eggshells, trying not to set off the father's violent temper. So it was one of those things that, where you could see from the outside why the daughter was angry, but it was complicated because, she was also 30-something years old, living at home, and then just being really awful to the mom, who was trying, maybe even fawning, trying to take care of her, and just trying to get the daughter to like her without actually dealing with the problem of her husband, either what he did in the past or what he was still doing. So every family story is complicated. I had a lot of empathy for these two women, the mother and the daughter. And the comments poured in. People felt very strongly about this. And I got this one, and this is the one I want to share with you, from someone who was demonstrating what I call the cowboy response. All right, so they said, I think it was a woman, said, "Give me a break. The one being abused, manipulated, and taken advantage of here is the mom. She's obviously always been abused by the husband. Her oldest daughter shoves her around, but might be the closest to help her out of this damn circus, and the youngest daughter is laying on the most poor, pitiful me guilt trip on this poor lady, and is the worst of all of them, and has that poor woman jumping through hoops for her so that she can lay around being taken care of." I don't disagree with any of this. I just would never have put it so harshly because these are like real people. Okay. She says, "The mom may have had her issues too, but how long is she supposed to pay? Everybody is leech sucking the life out of her. The kids need to grow up. The dad needs to change or go, and the mom needs time away from all those narcissists so she can clear her head, heal her heart, and let that bunch of babies sink or swim." You get the feeling that this person writing this comment has some experience with this situation. And then she says, "Note, before any of you tree huggers tell me I have no idea, believe me, I know all too well. The difference is I grew up and realized what my childhood was. Although a nightmare, it doesn't have to define who I am and how I live. I don't know what made my parents who they were or what they went through. I just knew for me to heal, I had to want to heal instead of using it to get pity. I made mistakes as a mama too, but I did the best I could. And yes, I made a lot of mistakes. I have asked for forgiveness and changed a bunch. I made some of the mistakes I learned through, though I tried not to. But there is a ton of things I'd done different than I had learned also. I used to let my children, especially my daughter, beat me over the head with guilt till I realized she was doing exactly what that woman's daughter is doing, using it to get her way, to guilt me, to kneel to her, so she could keep wanting and wanting as I just gave and gave, but I don't put up with that anymore. I deserve better and I demand better, and they can respect that or hit the road. I love my kids wholeheartedly, but I refuse to be bullied by them to raise them for the rest of their lives. The teat is dry. Heart's open for a healthy relationship, but if they don't want a healthy relationship, well, that's too bad because I don't want a bad one, and they can go grow up and try again someday. I was woman enough to forgive my parents, and they just need to grow up and just like the girls in this video, and the mom needs to get a life. And I also have PTSD, but I still live," she says. All right. I'm so interested in how you react to this. I'll tell you what I think. I call it the cowboy response. It's one legitimate response of how you can deal with a very hard past. And so there's a lot of different ways. I always think there's roughly like 7 paths to everything that's really big. For healing from trauma, it's roughly like that. There's a number of paths. And this is the cowboy path. This is the one where you go, I'm just tough and I just don't take crap anymore. And you know, I said my apologies and they can just get out. I'm amused by it just because it's so strong. And it's also so countercultural because we're supposed to be very gentle and touchy-feely about things. And I think that for a lot of people who were the aggrieved party, who may have been a child in a family like this, who were abused and there was a parent who was a bystander and didn't do anything, this letter may really like trigger, and also this attitude of like, they just need to get over it. It could be a very strong trigger to be like, that's what they always told me. That's what they always told me. Now, here's what I really think, and I think you all know this. I think we all need time and a way to kind of face and process the horrible stuff. The woman who was living with her parents here, you know, had been abused badly. And the fawning, what's interesting is the fawning response by her mother of just like, let me just take care of you. Let me just take care of you. It wasn't hitting the spot for her. And so I'm just curious if this more like, you know, tough response of just like, look, I said I was sorry, get over it. If that isn't, you know, is it worse or better than that way? I think that how you feel about this letter is going to be a reflection of what your path is, how you face trauma. And I'm probably very like, I write about it. I write and face the fearful and resentful thoughts about it. And then I gradually release it all very naturally, but I don't force myself to release it. But I also don't force myself to look at it or feel sad about it. Like there's also another path that says you have to grieve, you have to be sad, you have to talk quite a lot, perhaps to a therapist, you know, about all the things that happened to you. And that was a path that was hard for me because this idea that if I just talked about it enough, it would go away and feel better. It just didn't pan out for me. It was the daily practice techniques, the writing that did pan out for me. And I'm really grateful I found that because it did result in like the ruminating thoughts about it, the feeling of being permanently damaged by what happened. It just has gradually lifted and gradually lifted, sometimes in big chunks, you know, sometimes a big breakthrough happens. And I wouldn't say that now, after all these years, you know, there's still ways that sometimes I can see it in myself, that like dent that was made in me as a child. And I had a similar thing. There was abuse going on. The non-abusive parent didn't stand up for me. And I might feel at times like the daughter who was living at home. I might feel at times like the woman with the cowboy response. I might feel at times like fawning on the whole thing, going, you know, please, I just want you to like me. I'm so short of people. So I can see myself in every person in this story and the layers of the story. But this is such a good question. How do you process your trauma? What do you think is the right attitude for a parent who witnessed abuse or who maybe perpetrated abuse? What would be the ideal way for them to deal with their children in a way that didn't enable them, didn't keep them stuck as dependent or as the woman who lived at home just in a perpetual state of unhappiness and, you know, being hostile to the mother, thinking that somehow if she just kept trying to make her mother understand, this healing would come, and it didn't. Well, who knows? Maybe there's a way through no matter what path you take. Come on down in the comments and let me know what you find. And to make sure you find this video, come back here. Subscribe to this channel if you would. I'm on a campaign right now. I'm getting close to 1 million. I really want to get there this year, and you can help me if you're not already subscribed by hitting that button and the little bell that you get a notification. And if you think that complex PTSD, if trauma wounds are still affecting you or making you wonky in your decisions, I've got this quiz that lists some really common signs that might be exactly what's going on. And you can download that for free right here. And I will see you very soon.